it was amazing to watch the icon that got me into my favorite sport enshrined and immortalized in history. And I know you're going to feel the exact same way when Tom goes in because he's going to go down as the greatest quarterback. So I know that's going to be a little bit different, it being your hometown team and and everything else. But I mean, just like the feeling of a favorite player waking up on Sundays excited to see it, being a kid and watching a Super Bowl run or watching a playoff run, and dude, like seeing Peyton take the 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 shroud off for his bust and seeing him get a gold jacket was it was incredible, man. And shout out to everybody in both classes in 2020 and 2021 going into their rightful place to be remembered for the rest of eternity in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But I mean, I could not be happier to say like my favorite player is one of the greatest quarterbacks, not only in this generation but in NFL history. And it was a great weekend for me, man. It was amazing.
It was just really cool to see, just because being a Tom Brady fan for all these years, the one guy that I always had to worry about was Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, up until maybe recently, was looked at as the greatest regular season quarterback ever. You can contend he still is. You can make a very good argument that he's still the greatest regular season quarterback ever. You could say whether it's Brady or Manning at this point, but that kind of doesn't really matter at this point. It's just the fact of the matter is that Peyton was just I don't know if I don't even know if dominant's like the right word, but just the level of consistency that Peyton brought to the field every single season for the Indianapolis Colts, and then kind of towards the tail end with the Denver Broncos, just you don't see that very often. And the fact of the matter is that Peyton, what did he win? 5 MVPs?
Yep.
I mean, that's unheard of. You don't see that very often. I mean, Brady's the greatest quarterback ever, and he only has 3. So, you have to give a lot of respect for what Peyton was able to establish, just season in, season out. For how long did he play? Almost 20 years in the league, or like 17, 18 years, somewhere around there.
98 played till
Does it?
2014 when they won the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
16,
So so
17
so
years.
16 years. I mean, just a phenomenal career. You know, you just have to admire those careers when you see them. And not only did Peyton get in, you saw Hall of Fame players. You saw Troy Polamalu get in. One of the most, one of the
Electrifying
best,
safeties.
yeah, one of the best safeties that we've seen in the game in recent memory. Really, like when you think of safeties within like the last 20 years or so, you think Ed Reed, who's also in the Hall of Fame, and Troy Polamalu.
In the
Those
same
guys,
division. What rivals?
going back at it for years. You know, when it came to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens, when it came to defenses, those defenses were just so great because of the presence of Troy Polamalu and Ed Reed. Just what they were able to bring on the field was just phenomenal. And it was really just a sight to behold to watch those guys perform at just such a high level. Calvin Johnson gets in as one of the best wide receivers that we've seen in recent memory. I know necessarily his stats don't reflect it because his career was relatively short compared to some other receivers that we've seen get into Canton, but still, you can't deny the career that Calvin Johnson had. Had over 10,000 yards receiving, had around 80 career touchdowns, despite the fact that he played for the Lions, which, playing for Detroit, it's like a black hole playing there just because nothing ever seems to go right for them. But I can't deny the greatness that Calvin Johnson had on his run. For me, I know some people may feel a little bit differently about it, but I still think that Calvin Johnson is a Hall of Fame receiver without question. So, and also just to kind of mention some of the coaches that got in, Bill Cowher getting in, I thought was just a great moment. One of the best coaches that we've seen in recent memory. He was able to get that one Super Bowl. I believe it was in 2005.
5, yeah. It was the year
Yeah,
before the Colts won against
that
Sean
was
Alexander and Matt
yeah
Hasselbeck.
yeah that was the year they beat the Seahawks, and that was like Big Ben's like second season.
Second year, yeah, with
Yeah,
Jerome Bettis, the bus. That was his last year. He hung it up on top, Heinz Ward and them boys.
So, really altogether, it was a fantastic weekend for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You had Alan Faneca get in, you had Bill Cowher, Troy Polamalu, and there were probably some other guys that I'm missing.
Andrew and James,
So,
Charles Woodson.
like, talk about just a stacked roster for this Hall of Fame class. I know they combined 2020 and 2021 together, but still, all in all, I thought it was a fantastic weekend.
No, it was great. I mean, obviously, my favorite inductee is my boy. You know what I'm saying? I talk about him like he's my best friend, and I'm jealous because my little brother got to meet him at a young age, going to an autograph signing with my dad. But like, dude, like Charles Woodson, Troy Polamalu, we're talking about some of the most electrifying defensive players of our life. Like Troy on Pittsburgh, 4th and 1, 4th and short. He's known for timing it to the snap and jumping over and tackling the quarterback. The man's done it a litany of times. We're talking about Charles Woodson. Oakland Charles Woodson and Green Bay Charles Woodson's might deserve 2 green jackets because he's historic on both ends. Super Bowl champion on the Green Bay side. Unfortunately, broke his collarbone in the Super Bowl. But my God, man, I have both their jerseys, like 2 authentic jerseys. I'm hunting a Charles Woodson Oakland jersey. But I mean, shout out to those people that like changed our lives, bro. Like we're talking about people that opened our eyes. Like I want to tackle like Charles. I want to make an interception like Troy. Like I think of Troy and I think of not only the jumping over on 4th down, but that one-handed catch in the playoffs where like he dove for an interception and he caught it with his fingertips against the Ravens. Like
or the one where he catches it. I think it was against the Tennessee Titans where he just reaches back with one
and
arm and just
oh
snags it.
my God, bro! Like guys, I don't think you understand. Like Kyle and I are such football enthusiasts. Like favorite teams aside, these players waking up and like being like, "Oh my God!" Like our teams are playing today, but like, yo, I'm trying to see these individual plays. Like they were on SportsCenter top 10, they were on NFL Countdown, like they were on everything. Like there was no getting away from it. And like Kyle played the sport day in and day out in high school, and it's like I know when coaches pull up film, these are players that they reference to. Like they make comparisons and analogies and everything you can think of. So like I know for a fact that defense was my go-to whenever I did play with my friends or whenever I played flag or rough touch or whatever. Like I always wanted to play safety because of Troy, because of Ed, because of if I had to play corner because of Charles, because of Chant Bailey, like Rondé Barber. We're starting to date ourselves. We're starting to sound a little old now because this generation's never gonna know what these guys are. But when you talk about the Hall of Fame, bro, like Canton, Ohio, these players are finally there. Like, how old do you feel right now? Like, I remember watching them our whole life, like, oh my God, that's Charles Woodson, and like that's Chip Bailey. And it's like they're retired now and they're like old with gray hair. And like I remember my dad would always used to tell me, like, oh well, what do you think about like Ronnie Lott?
I'm like,
What do you
oh,
think? Like dad, bro, those guys are mad old. Like we're talking about these guys right here, and now we're there. Like not
yeah,
our parents' age, but like now our favorite players are retired and in the Hall of Fame. So it's like the appreciation is crazy.
yeah. Like I know, like my dad, like one of the guys that he would always bring up from back in the day, was Earl Campbell. Earl
Yes,
Campbell, like one of like the best running backs ever, but could just run over people like a freight
the
train.
truck.
Like I remember the one play in particular where he's running a draw up the middle. He takes a juke to the outside and then he cuts to the inside. He just lowers his helmet. I think they were playing against the Rams in that game. He just lowers his helmet into the dude's chest. The dude just falls back on the ground. Earl starts running down the field. He's getting tackled by like 2 or 3 guys, and they're basically like ripping his jersey out of his shoulder pads. And it's just like it takes like 2 or 3 guys just to get him down, but they got to rip his jersey off of him to essentially tackle him. It's like, but those were the guys back in the day. That's just one guy in particular, you know, that my dad looked up to like our parents' generations looked up to. And now, like the guys that we watched as a kid that we idolized when we were younger, now they're old and in the Hall of Fame. Like it's just wild to kind of like see like that whole journey come full circle. And it's just nice to celebrate those guys' achievements and the coaches' achievements, and to just have everybody come together in Canton, for a weekend together, that is really something special. And I know one thing, just one day, it's got to be cool just to go to one of those enshrinement ceremonies, just to kind of see that in person. I think would be really cool.
I would love to go. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't give a shit what kind of class it is or who's in it. And
This would have been the one to go to for you with Peyton.
if I went to that I probably would have been kicked out.
Because of
Like,
what?
no, I don't need alcohol. I don't need anything stupid or obnoxious, bro. We're talking my favorite player in existence. I was talking about this with my girlfriend the other day. I literally said, babe, I don't know what I would do if I had to choose my favorite icon, because I have favorite players, obviously, that made me love each team. In Dirk Nowitzki, Peyton Manning, Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams. I mean, the God, Kobe Bryant, like, God rest his soul. Like, I don't know what I would do if I would be around them or like be in front of them. Like, people are like, "Oh, celebrity starstruck." Like, no. Like, I don't give a shit about your status. Like, you're the person that got me into this sport. You're the person that made me fall in love with this game. Like, the appreciation for those individuals is beyond what words can explain. Like, bro, I'm telling you, like, I cried when Peyton was inducted and I saw his bust and he got the jacket. Like, that man will never understand, to me, the impact he's had on my life. And I wish I would have been able to display that on a football field to some form of athletic competitive level, like in high school or in college, and like dedicate my game to him, because I truly fell in love with waking up with my dad on Sundays, sitting at 10 o'clock, either, prepping for fantasy football or talking about, predictions with my dad in the kitchen, and annoying my mother to the point where 12:30 is hitting and I'm just sitting there in my Colts kids jersey, just like ready, uppity, and hyped to go. And it's like, dude, win or lose, man, like, that was my boy. That is my boy. And, like, I know Peyton's never going to see this, 27-year-old man confessing basically his love for Peyton Manning, but he changed my life forever. And it's like, I can never show him enough gratitude or, thanks for that. So him getting enshrined and the rest of the players, dude, these athletes have special places in a lot of people's hearts. And I wish people would respect it, because this is incredible.
We could tag Peyton in this. We could at least tag
Hey,
him.
Peyton, man, if you see this, man, I love you, bro. Congratulations. You're literally the face of the Colts for me. You're my favorite player. You got me into the sport, and I'm eternally grateful for making me fall in love with this. So if you see it, I'm so happy for you. I hope one day I can meet you, and we'll see what happens.